we're moving from I suppose you would say the alpha stage of my first 63 uploads, which have now been viewed 3,268 times. So that's given me some very good insight into what people want, what people are relating to, the kinds of information that are important to them, what is of value. And to my surprise, I discovered that the most valuable upload that I'd offered, at least as far as the numbers go, are the two areas. One is the area of chunking skills. And I think that was actually my very first one that I put up there that was specifically addressing chunking skills. And the other one is the series of the relationship of Grinder and Bandler. So I have the feeling that there's a lot of interest in how one can overlap or interplay the knowledge of John and Richard into some other higher form of NLP learning on one side, and on the other side there's a great deal of hunger or thirst or one of those appetites for very, very fine-grained, very specific, detailed, actionable, low theory, high use type knowledge. And I'll speak a little bit to the second part then, to the chunking area, because that has been impactful and it's made a difference for people. I think that since Steve Andreas has come out with his latest books on scope and category, he's asking two questions. One is the question of example, in terms of example. So we're thinking in terms of example. What is this an example of? What is an example of this? So that would be category, thinking in category. Then he also asks a scope query, and that is, what is this a part of? Or what is this a component of? What is this a piece of? What is this an element of? All of those will work. What is a part of this? What is a piece of this? What is a component of this? What is an element of this? So scope is asking how much is this part of a whole, or how much is this a element, or how much is this a ingredient of a whole. So I think when you think of the term ingredient, we're thinking linguistically here, gives a little bit of a shift, because an ingredient is something which is distributed throughout something, a part maybe like a Lego block or a piece. So we may say, what is this an ingredient in, or an ingredient of, and what is an ingredient of this? What is an ingredient in this? So I think the idea of using ingredients as in the concept of a recipe, or something which is blended into something, versus a part of, which is a piece or an element, like a watch gear or part, or a circuit part, versus an ingredient. And an ingredient could be something you might say in a relationship, or an ingredient might be something in a social process, or an ingredient might be something in a movie, or in something where the elements are dynamically, constantly interacting, and we can use those very interesting olfactory and gustatory senses, flavoring and giving scent to. That's sort of what an ingredient does. An ingredient might actually be described in an olfactory way. You can smell that in there, you know. I can smell that little bit of something in there. So I will expand and continue on this. So the beginning point here, you could look at Steve Andreas, and it might help. I'm not sure how you would benefit from that. I personally did not relate strongly to the book, nor did I relate particularly negatively to the book. I found myself really kind of in a lukewarm response to the book. So did that book become an ingredient in my thinking? I think it might have been informed it to some extent, but actually looking at Lakoff directly, George Lakoff, the linguist, has taken my thinking in some other directions as well. So just so we can keep things in nice compressed video time, I'm going to stop right now, and then I'll pick it up on the next one.